It's been an interesting few days. I had to leave the house again. Seems like I have to keep doing that. Last time was with the fires, but we had a bunch of snow and ice, and when ice hits Portland, the electrical infrastructure is not set up to deal with that sort of thing. Luckily, it does not happen very often. I think the last time was maybe 12 years ago or something. But anyways, I kind of filmed some of the fiasco. It started out like, oh hey, there's gonna be snow. I can run around in the chairs and make some snow videos. But then the power went out and it quickly turned into trying not to freeze to death. And ultimately I left the house as, well, I don't know, you'll see. But anyways, the video is a little bit kind of disjointed because my priorities were elsewhere. So I just kind of grabbed the camera here and there and filmed a few things. So here's a bunch of clips that are strung together. And by the way, this video is almost 45 minutes long, but I kept most of it in because I want to illustrate some of the things that I hadn't thought of and some of the things you have to do. And well, let's just say I'm thankful for a garage full of parts and power inverters and a bunch of other stuff that I was able to use to scrape by for a few days. I guess I did give up. I'm not there now, but you'll see why here about partway through the video. Enjoy. Yeah, there's a little bit of snow. It's not that much. So according to the tire depth gauge, it looks like, I'll give that 4 inches maybe. My other camera's charging, so I'm gonna kind of screw around a little bit. Definitely not gonna be driving anywhere. I don't have any 4-wheel drive vehicles at the moment, so yeah. I'm gonna play around a little bit and then I'll be back. All right, I kind of forgot to plug this thing in overnight, which it's charged and it's fine. As you can see there, we got a green light. But since it's kind of colder out here in the garage, I like to leave it plugged in so the batteries warm up a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna go get the rest of my cold weather stuff on and let's go screw around a little bit. Okay, so we're in the Frontier V6. Honestly, I haven't gotten a lot of seat time in this chair recently because, well, I wouldn't say the Bounder replaced this chair, but it might have a little bit. The other thing too is this chair is a little bit slower than the Bounder, and well, I don't do quite as much trail hiking and stuff. So anyways, let's go out here and see how deep this is. Yeah, seems to have some ice packed into it. Huh. I just wanted to go out and check the condition of the main road and stuff, but you can kind of see here, I mean, we've got probably 4 to 5 inches of snow or something like that, but yeah, this thing seems to do pretty good. It's a lot of ice pellets and frozen material mixed in with it, so it compacts really well, and it's very slippery. Only problem is I do not know the condition of the batteries in this chair. I did change them out a while back, but I don't think they're very good. Probably worst timing possible. The good batteries I have are in the Quantum 6000Z that has a generator on it there. So I don't think I'm going to be taking this chair down to the store, unfortunately. Although, I still haven't tried the Bounder yet. It's a lot heavier, and I feel like it might slide and stuff, but yeah, I should probably hop in that thing and see how it does in the snow, because I've used this V6 in the snow like tons, and it works really well. That thing though, never once had it in the snow, so we're gonna have to check that out. Okay, so I took the Bounder out for a minute or 3. Seems to do pretty good. It is heavy though, and it tends to slide a bit. I think the V6 is definitely the way to go, but the batteries in it are semi-questionable. So we ripped the good batteries that I have. These things are awesome, by the way, out of the hybrid electric chair, and we're gonna swap them in here. And by the way, video last year when I swapped the batteries in this, I got a few comments saying, hey bro, you're doing that the hard way. You can just tilt the seat back. So that's what we're doing now. It makes it significantly easier to get to the batteries. So they're unhooked now. I'm just pulling up that rear controller plate and we can slide these things and lift them out. The only issue with these things is they do have this lip that sticks out on the edge. So I think we've got a little bit of wiggle room here because reasons, I don't know. We'll see if we can make them fit. But if I can get these things in here, yeah, we'll be good. I figure I'm not going to be using that thing and the snow's not going to be here forever. So yeah, let's just get it done. Okay, a few things I did not consider. One, snow uses significantly more battery power. Two, all the roads are going to have snow stacked up on the sides of them. And three, people driving like crazy people. So I think we're going to abort this mission and head back. Chair seems to be working really well though. Everything seems to be a little bit wet. Well, that was semi-entertaining. Kind of a little bit soaked at the moment. For some reason. I guess the ice pellets falling from the sky tend to melt when they touch something warm. Kind of forgot about the whole factor about trudging through snow is really hard on the batteries. 2 red bars left at the moment. These things were fully charged, although it is also really cold. I understood the part about people driving like insane people, but what I forgot is the snow that builds up on the side of the road. They haven't plowed anything here yet, but everyone driving down the road makes a buildup of snow on the side. So here we are, stuck in this house. Luckily the snow won't be around very long. I don't have any 4-wheel drive vehicles at the moment, but anyways, I'm going to get on a delivery app and see if I can get some stuff delivered. Not 100% sure if they're doing that right now, but I would assume, well, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to dry off. I can turn on the heater. Okay, I'm gonna hang up my coat and everything here and get this chair dried off and hop back into the F3. Good times. Well, the power's out again. It's about 1 a.m. right now. And still 67 degrees in here, so we're doing pretty good. But luckily we have the fireplace insert. I found out the blower fan in that thing pulls a pretty significant amount of power though, because I've got a backup power supply that I hooked up out in the garage where it's plugged in. And that thing would only give me about 20 minutes of runtime. So what I did was turned off the fan, and then this is an old fireplace blower. So I put that right up against the front of the stove, and it's got warm air coming out here. And it only pulls, well, less than 10 watts. You can see it surges up to 10 occasionally. But I'm just running this little portable jump pack with a power inverter built in. So that should keep the house warm at least. Most of the plumbing's on this end of the house, so I think we should be okay. It's like 19 degrees outside. But apparently most of Portland is out of power. I looked at the PGE map, and it stretches about 75 miles from south to north and about 50 miles from east to west where the outage is. So I don't know how long this is going to be. Problem is, I can't sleep without my ventilator. Well, I can try, but bad things happen. Last time I attempted to sleep without it, I ended up in the ICU for a few days. So we shan't be doing that again. But I've got a couple of big batteries out in the garage and a high efficiency large power inverter. So I think I might try and run that in there. I'm going to stay up. I mean, I'm going to give it till probably 3, 4 a.m. And if the power doesn't come back on by then, I'll haul the power inverter in here and sleep with that. So we started getting freezing rain. and there's like an inch of ice on everything outside. And normally when that happens, power lines fall into power lines. It was funny because I figured it was gonna get crazy. The lights flickered a few times, so I went around the house, unplugged most of the computers, and I left this one on out here. All the lights got really bright before the power went out. So something definitely happened. But anyways, I'm gonna listen to the radio, I guess. And I guess I could watch YouTube on the laptop, but let's see what we can figure out here. So we've got ice everywhere, and pretty much everywhere I look, there's downed power lines. So yeah, this is fun. Look how much ice is built up on the fence though. That's what causes all these problems in Portland, is when ice starts building up. Look at this tree. Okay, I've got to get the generator hooked up, get the fridge plugged in, get some batteries in here charging, and then I'll see if we have time to look around outside. Got the generator outside. There's nothing like announcing to a silent neighborhood, hey, there's a generator. Luckily, this thing has automatic throttle, and it's pretty quiet anyways. It's only running at about maybe 1400 RPM, so it's not too loud. But we got some power cords running in here. This fireplace does technically work when the power's out, but the fan doesn't work. So we rigged up these batteries and inverter with that fireplace, old school wood stove fireplace blower. Right now though, we're charging those batteries, and I ran an extension cord into the garage, so the fan on that thing's working now. I'm gonna plug this thing in here in just a second to get that charging. That's what I was running my ventilator on last night. And I drug a mattress that I had out here into the living room. Problem is I can't lay flat, but I can get away with laying on something that is flat if I stay on my side with my knees bent. So the back half of the house is about 50 degrees. So I figured if I was out here, at least I'd be warm. We got extension cord coming in here. We've got the fridge plugged in. So that's good now. And then one more extension cord here goes off into the garage, and that's what's powering the fan on the fireplace. Because that fireplace normally plugs into a power strip next to the furnace in the garage. So at least we can get some more heat in here. We're up to, well, we're up to 59 in here now. I ran some numbers though, and I'm pretty sure the power inverter that's in the back of the white van will run the fridge. So, generator's got 2.5 gallons of gas in it. It holds 5. I'm not sure how long it'll run, but at least we can get some things charged up. And the white van is now full of gas. I filled that up last week. So, if need be, we can keep the fridge going with that. And we've got the barbecue outside so I can cook on that thing. There's still, actually, let's check the estimated, let's see if they've updated an estimate for when the power is coming back on. I think I set my phone down in the garage. Of course, internet's down, so got the hotspot going here. Well, let's have a look and see. Last night when they hadn't even dispatched the crews yet, they said it was going to be like 11 o'clock tonight before it was done. But I'm seeing down power lines every window I look out, so yeah, I look pretty terrible right now. I think I got about 4 hours of sleep. You're seeing most of the entire state of Oregon on this map. Each of those pins represents a zip code. So we still have significant power outages here. Let me zoom into where I'm at. February 15th at 9:45 a.m. Okay, so I guess we're in this for the long haul. I'm going to stop recording and take care of some other things that need to be done to prep for this. Monday. Okay, I'll be back. I just realized something. Okay, so I think I mentioned the, I'm using this wood stove blower right here, but it's running with a power inverter off of these batteries. But then I remembered, I have something in the garage that I think will increase the efficiency. Well, hang on, I need a headlamp. I keep forgetting there's no lights. Wait for it. Wait for it. Where did I put it? Oh, it's already on my head. Anyways, so it'll increase the efficiency as far as reducing the amount of power being consumed, but also it's going to move more air. Sometimes I'm amazed that I can find half of the stuff I have, but check it out. Da, 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 da. This is a 12-volt blower motor out of like an old, like, I don't know, 60s car or something. So it only pulls 4 amps at 12 volts, but look at this thing. This is going to get some serious airflow, and it's 12 volts. So we can connect this directly to those batteries. Actually, let's see here, math. 4 amps. We've got approximately, okay, these are in parallel, 65 amp hours. So we've got about 130 amp hours there, and this pulls 4 amps. So some amount of something. Actually, I think the motor on this might be bigger than the one that's in there. Wait, okay, hang on. Where's my phone? What is 4.3 times 12?
4.3 times 12 is 51.6.
Okay, never mind. So this thing is going to pull the equivalent of 50 watts. That thing only pulls about 7 watts. So never mind. It was a good thought, I guess. But I got to looking at how large that motor is and seeing that it pulls 4.3 amps. Anyways, I've got things situated here for now. I'm just trying to find some stuff to keep busy with. I got the white van fired up. I'm waiting for the ice to melt so I can get the back of it open and run a power cord to the power inverter that's in the back of that thing, because the inverter in that van will run the fridge. And the problem with having a generator buzzing away out back, even though it's fairly quiet, it's an announcement to a very quiet area. Hey, there's a generator, come steal me. So that thing will not be running past dark, / I'm not sure how much fuel's in it. I'm about 65% on one bank and 75% on the other bank of batteries, but as soon as those are charged, and then as soon as the fridge shuts off, I'm gonna shut off the generator and bring it in. I will not be leaving it out there past dark. I think we've got enough fuel to get through today and tomorrow. I could always siphon fuel out of one of the vans. Both the tanks are full on those. But I think using that power inverter with an extension cord, well, an idling van in the driveway is far quieter and far less assuming than a generator sitting outside. So, yeah, it's one of those things, like, I don't necessarily think someone would steal it, but then again, you never put it past people. There's over 300,000 houses without power right now. So I want to keep as low a profile as possible. But yeah, I think we got this covered. Got plenty of food in the fridge. I am a bit low on pellets for the grill. I was thinking the other day I need to get more for that. I've only got enough for maybe an hour of runtime on that. So, well, actually I can run the microwave on the generator though. And I'll figure it out. I think I've got enough stuff covered. Everything in the freezer is still good. So, yeah, fun times. Oh, and good news, we're up to 62 degrees in here now. I'm gonna go outside and get a little bit of footage. This ice is actually pretty impressive. Yeah, I haven't seen ice like this since back in '98 when we had the big ice storm. And that one, we had like 4 inches of ice on everything. There was no snow, it was just straight up ice. That was kind of a mess. Or was '98 when the flood was? I think we had the ice and then the flood. I don't know, whatever. I'll be back. Okay, my friends just left. They brought over 5 gallons of gasoline. We got the generator topped off. I think we should be good. That thing's pretty dang fuel efficient. with the auto throttle on there. So I should be good for 3 or 4 days with that. Like I said, just running it during the day and then using batteries at night. The F3 is out in the garage charging. It's almost done. That's charging with the inverter off the white van that's idling. So that's our 351 Cleveland powered wheelchair charger. But yeah, 67 degrees in here, so we're doing pretty good. I think at this point it's time to make some dinner. And yeah. Oh. So last night I was chatting with some people online and I was like, wait a minute, I think I heard a car crash. And I tried to go outside. The ice hadn't completely formed yet, and there was a layer of ice over the snow, and I got stuck in the driveway. I managed to get back inside. Actually, I have a short clip of that. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm stuck like 2 feet from the garage. Okay, screw that. There's ice covering the snow now. But I found out all I had to do was air down the tires on the Frontier V6. Now it moves around flawlessly. But anyways, I went out there with our friends out to the main road, and there's a giant tree like 2 feet in diameter that fell over. I don't know if that's what took out the power. Well, it didn't help. That fell down after the power went out. So there's a lot of repair that has to be done before they can restore the power, but it's a giant tree. It kind of shook the house a little bit when it fell too. But things are kind of melting a little bit, but it's getting colder outside now. So gonna freeze again overnight, and then PGE is not going to really do much until things start thawing. So tonight's supposed to be 31, which means about 25 to 28 here. And then Sunday, it's supposed to get up to 40 degrees. Monday, 43, and then mid 40s after that. So I'd assume they're gonna start working late Sunday and then hopefully get stuff restored. But good times. I got heat, we're good. Okay, time for food. Okay, so I went ahead and upgraded the power inverter to this giant 1750 here, and got some connections hooked up and everything. Problem we're having, if you look at the volt gauge, it's kind of going all over the place. And there's no way the battery voltage is actually fluctuating like that. When I first fired it up, this fault light right here kept kicking on after a few seconds. Now this unit does a little bit of current testing right when you turn it on before the output fires up. And I think what's happening is on a couple of these connectors here, there's this connector and then there's the Anderson connector here. I think those contacts are a little bit dirty. So what I'm going to do is grab my hook and pick set and see if I can't clean out those connectors. Because, yeah, I mean, we're jumping from 9 to 12 to all over the place. Something's definitely screwy there. But yeah, I'm confident we can get it fixed. I just like this power inverter because it's a little more efficient and it has a battery gauge built in. Also a load gauge, as opposed to this little guy here. It's nice to keep an eye on the battery voltage. And also the fans in that thing are not running full blast. They're temperature controlled, so they'll only be making as much noise as is necessary for the load that's attached, which is just this little fireplace blower here. Anyways, I'm going to screw around and see if we can't get this figured out. I've got this other little power inverter unit here. I've had this thing for years, and I'm just running the laptop with that right now. And laptop pulls less than 10 watts as well, so I'm kind of catching up on some YouTube comments and also other chats and things like that. Yeah, our little light bulb thing's doing work over here. But yeah, so I'm gonna see if I can get those contacts cleaned up and see if we can fix that, because something's definitely screwy there. Okay, after much screwing around with that inverter, I cannot figure out why the voltmeter on it is going nuts. What I think is going on is the circuitry inside the display that displays the voltage is screwy. Because if it was actually going down to 9 volts and the inverter's logic thought it was going to 9 volts, it would instantly shut off. So I think what's happening is there's just something screwy with that little voltmeter display that's in there. I hooked up an actual voltmeter and it shows a solid 12.5 volts under load. So I don't think there's an issue there at all. I've got this voltmeter here so I can keep an eye on things. But I did realize something. That inverter is capable, well, its power handling is 200 amps. So I figured a circuit breaker was in order. By the way, thank you to the person that sent me the box of wheelchair parts. This is a 120 amp breaker, I believe, which should be good for this application. I'm not loading that thing down enough. And pulling 200 amps from those batteries, well, it may do it for a couple of seconds, but it's not a good idea. So I cut down some of the cables, and we're gonna install this right here. So we have some circuit protection. This thing does have fuses inside of it. There's like a row of 50 amp fuses in there, but that doesn't protect everything from there to here. And this is where arc welding can happen. Yeah. So anyways, I'm gonna install this real quick, and then, yeah, we should be good. Oh, by the way, yes, of course, carbon monoxide detector. That thing has a battery backup in it. I've never slept in the living room before, but, and I don't know if what's going on here using this fan affects anything. I'm pretty sure the firebox is completely sealed, but just in case, as long as that number stays at 0, we should be good. And that thing will screech like there's no tomorrow if there's a problem. Yeah, good times. Alright, yesterday I learned something running around in the Frontier V6. And that has to do with tire pressure. The lower the tire pressure, the better traction you have. I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? I actually need to put a little bit of air back into one of the tires. But for now, we're in the steampunk chair. And I think with these tires that are on here, and as solid as the ice is out here right now, I should be able to run around a little bit. So I'm gonna let a little bit of the air out of these tires and then do a little bit of exploring. Well, just kind of around the property here. I'm not going anywhere. Man, I feel like I'm back in the days of when I used to work for a lighting company, running cables and setting up circuits and just pulling cords everywhere. Planning everything out, making sure there isn't too much on one circuit. Is it weird that I fired up the ice machine? There's something about water and coffee that has ice in it. It's got multiplexers here, these super heavy gauge ones. None of this stuff is very much of a load though. And I've used the power meter to make sure everything's good. And we've got everything running outside here. And I've even got the generator set up so it's charging the chair base that it's on. I don't think the batteries in that chair are very good, but it's enough to at least move it around. Actually, I did notice a few other neighbors have generators now, so I may leave that thing going till about 10 p.m. to get me a few more hours. It's supposed to get up to 40 degrees later today and continue getting warmer after that. Well, I say warmer, all the way up to 45. But the second we get like 38 degrees and things start melting, PGE is gonna finally start doing some work. And hopefully, in theory, let's see, this is Sunday. Tomorrow we should have power back, hopefully. There's been extensive damage to the wires that I can see just around this area and a little bit of running around that I've done. So I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, but yeah, good stuff. Oh, I actually fired up the coffee maker and I had hot coffee today. That's a first for a while, or in a while. Oh, I need to charge my phone. Okay, well, that's the morning update. Oh, it's already 11:30. Wait, is that right? No, it's 9:45. I need to change the clock on this chair. Yeah, If anything interesting happens, I'll be back. Update time. So I just changed the oil in the generator. I was realizing that I don't think I've ever done that since I bought that thing. And when I opened up the dipstick to look in there, it smelled like Pennzoil. So yeah, I know I never put that in there. But anyhow, I got a little bit creative to change the oil without making a huge mess. I grabbed one of these little saline syringes and I cut the end off of a catheter and put that over the little syringe and just pulled the oil out that way. It took a few minutes, but at least I could do it without making a mess. And then I kind of refilled it the same way. I was hearing this weird noise that almost sounded like valve train. Whoop, exposure. That sounded like valve train. So I was out there poking around and then I realized it was just the side of the case rattling. But that's when I realized I don't think the oil had ever been changed. And it was a little bit low too. So anyways, we're good to go now. Yeah, good times. All right, so by the time this ordeal is done, I'll be fully prepared. Remember how I said that blower that I wanted to use was pulling too much power? Well, the blower that I did hook to the inverter only uses 7 watts, and this other one I think it was like 20 watts or something. But the smaller one doesn't use a lot of air, and I ran into a problem last night. I almost ran out of battery, and I had to unhook everything to keep my breathing machine going, and I had to turn off its built-in humidification and also the heated hose and everything. It got me through till about 7 in the morning, but I had to keep swapping batteries and doing things. So, we're offloading the fireplace blower to that 12-volt one. You may ask, what has changed? Well, we've gone ahead and added another set of batteries. These are little U1 AGM deep cycles. But I've gone ahead and connected this blower up to a switch. That thing moves an obscene amount of air, and according to my maths, assuming that that thing is pulling the 4.3 amps that it says it is, I should get about 11-12 hours of runtime on these batteries. So what I'm going to do right now is make a little bracket to put on this, because when this thing fires up, it rolls all over the place. And the plan is going to be to have this thing sitting right here, forcing air into the bottom of the stove and allowing heat to come out the top. So we're going to have to make a little plate or something to mount this on. Obviously you don't want to use wood because it's in front of the fireplace. But yeah, I think this worked out fairly well. Made up some little connectors and stuff here. These two batteries are in parallel, got a fuse. That's going to free up the big inverter here to basically only run my breathing machine. And yeah, I think that's how we're going to do it. Because, like I said, I was using this thing before, which worked all right. Only goes for 5 hours. So I think I'm going to do is use this thing to run some lights in here and maybe the laptop. And yeah, basically we have another power source now. Hopefully the power comes back on tomorrow. It's supposed to get up to 40 degrees tonight. So we'll see what actually happens. But yeah, I should probably get a cart or something to mount all this stuff on. Although, again, I don't know if I'm going to need this stuff again in the near future before I need its parts. Like, I'm sure I'll need those batteries for something, but anyways, at least we're getting set up, and it's giving me something to keep busy with. You can only watch so many YouTube videos. Of course, well, normally I'd be doing a bunch of other stuff around the house since there's electricity, but whatever. Anyways, that's where we're at for now. Okay, there we go. I made a bracket for this thing. I always forget what this stuff's called. It's not unistrut, but I just cut this with a bandsaw, folded it over, pounded it with a hammer, and this is tight enough that I don't need to bolt it on. This is not coming off. I actually had to jig this up and press it on there. But yeah, I think this should work good for the fireplace blower. Should just sit right there in front of it and do its thing. I should probably check and make sure it's actually only pulling 4.3 amps though. Because it's pulling like 10 amps. That's going to significantly reduce our, runtime. Oh, I do have a rheostat I could put on there though. Oh no, I've got a spare blower motor resistor. Although I have to mount it up over here because those get hot and they need airflow. Whatever. We'll run it tonight and see what happens. Alright, so here's our setup. Move the batteries in the big inverter over here. I don't know what was going on, but the voltage gauge on this finally stabilized. I'd even hooked up the chassis ground on it, but I don't know. It just took a couple of days of using it for the voltage gauge to work. So here's our blower for the fireplace. I've got an amp gauge and a voltmeter hooked up. It says we're pulling 4.4 amps at 12.4 volts. Ignore that bar graph. It shows low for whatever reason. But yeah, the thing was rated at 4.3 amps. It says 4.4. Kind of interesting. When it first turned on, it was pulling a solid 5.1. But after the motor warmed up, it leveled off and yeah, whatever. So there's 3 outlets on the big inverter. You probably can't see, but there's 2 outlets underneath it there. I just got the carbon monoxide detector plugged in there. And since this thing is moving, I don't know if it's more air. It feels like it's moving more air than the blower that was built into the fireplace. I wanted to make sure it wasn't like doing something with the burn box and getting gas in here. So anyways, yeah, I think we're good to go. All this stuff over here is basically backup now. Using that thing to charge the laptop at the moment, and this is pure backup. So if that thing for some reason fails overnight, I can plug my breathing machine into the big yellow cart. Yeah. Interesting note, however, the power company all day today, they've changed the estimated power, what do you call it? The estimated date that they're going to have the power restored. They've changed it 3 times today. I do that because I can't independently bend my fingers. But yeah, so now they're estimating the end of this week before the power is going to be back on. I haven't even seen them out here yet, and from what I can see, there's a solid 2 days worth of work just within a half a mile around here. So I'm going to bail. I'm headed over to a friend's place tomorrow, and I'm going to stay there. I should get a text notification when the power comes back on, or a robo-dial phone call or something. So the weather's warming up. It's like supposedly 40 degrees. Well, 36 degrees right now and raining. It's going to keep getting warmer and probably like low 40s over the next couple days. So I shouldn't have to worry about the house freezing. But yeah, there's no way I can spend a week total not sleeping in my bed and dealing with everything else here. Not to mention, you know, trying to keep food cold and running the generator. I mean, that generator works good, but I don't think it was designed to run 24/7. But yeah. So anyways, I'm gonna get up tomorrow, assess the weather. The roads are pretty clear, and we'll make a decision as to whether we're gonna bail or not. Hopefully, the power magically comes back on before then. 64 degrees in here right now. I'm actually pretty comfortable. But yeah, I'll check in tomorrow. All right, so I've made the decision to bail. Staying here without electricity for over a week is not gonna work. PGE kept bumping forward the estimated restoration date, but then this morning, or last night it said Thursday the 18th, and then this morning it said no estimate available, and they published a little thing saying that there was 8 substations, 4,000 power lines, 70-something feeders, and a bunch of other stuff that was down. And they're basically like, yeah, we know it's frustrating and can be scary not to have power. Generic, not taking responsibility for anything. I mean, obviously it's not their fault, but yeah, so I'm heading out of here. I'm going to the same place that I was when we had the fires a few months ago. So, yeah. Everything's melted enough now that I'll be able to drive the van no problem. If you notice here, it's pretty much all slush, and the roads are essentially clear. So, yeah, should be good. I've got the F3 in the van, and I'm in the steampunk chair right now, simply because slush is the worst thing ever. The F3 will not make it through this into the van while I'm sitting in it. And actually turned the van sideways and put the front tire in the yard so the lift was right here so that I could back the thing in there more easily. But yeah, so fun times. Mattress on the floor is not going to work. Running that generator for weeks on end, I don't know. I talked to someone at PGE and they were like, well, it's certainly not going to be within a week. And we won't say it's going to be more than 3 weeks, but apparently there's a lot of damage. They have 2,500 people out there working on stuff right now. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to go somewhere that has a place I can sleep and has heat and has power. Yeah, we should be good. So anyways. Oh, so that's the one thing right now that's going on. So obviously there's no electricity. So attempting to open the garage door, I've got it propped open with that stick right now. But I realized after I got everything loaded, I can't lock the house because I have to lock the door from the inside and I have to use a wooden dowel and kind of like poke it on there to get the latch to operate. And I can't come out through the front of the house. Normally I would just go around the back, but check this out. So I attempted to exit through the back earlier. Here's what that looked like. Yeah. To even get that far, I was going forward, backing up, stopping, going forward, backing up, stopping, and just trying to like barge my way forward. But then I realized that something on this chair is gonna, that's a lot of wind. That something on the chair is gonna melt or burn, or I'm gonna blow the main fuse. So yeah. I could potentially get through that in the bounder, but I can't drive the van. I can't drive the van sitting in the bounder. The F3 is already in there, and the steampunk chair that I'm sitting in is going to go with me because where I'm going has a similar driveway. So we'll get my other chair into the house. Then when I need to go outside, we'll use a steampunk chair. That way we can avoid getting all the snow and slush and runoff into the house. Because yeah, as you can see, there's a pretty significant amount of water in here. I went around the house and kind of dried everything up with a towel and a broom handle. But yeah. All little things to think about. It is peaceful here, though, without electricity. Well, made it to where I'm going. Actually got some sleep last night. So, mentioning leaving the garage, I had to have a friend drive across town and meet me at the house. And I went outside, he went in and closed the garage door, did the funky weirdness to get the thing to latch. Then walked through the house and came out the front down the steps and locked it up that way. So yeah, anyways, right now it's Tuesday, February 16th in the morning. And actually, I haven't checked the PGE power estimate here. Let me do that real quick. All right, so I just checked. Apparently 12,000 more people in the zip codes surrounding my house lost power last night. I guess the ice melting did some more damage. Still no estimate for getting the power turned back on. But I did set up I've got a backup internet solution there that's cellular, and I've got the cameras and stuff hooked up to that. They don't pull very much power. So I've got some great big, like 30,000 milliamp hour power banks everything's connected to, and I'm kind of keeping an eye on things. So I'll be able to look on the cameras and see when the power gets restored. And also there's a couple other devices, assuming that the internet turns itself back on. I think the internet, like the cable, is going to be a whole completely different thing that'll probably take forever to get restored because that company, yeah, whatever. But I can monitor everything here and I'll know the second the power comes back on. Hopefully it stays on. I would think at this point it should because, I mean, the ice is gone. There's a little bit of snow on the ground, but, well, here. I mean, there's little patches of snow on the ground, but yeah, we're pretty much good to go. I think we're going to call that good for now. I have a feeling this video is super long. I'm going to try and trim it down. According to this, it's 45 minutes long at this point. But I don't know. It's been an interesting experience so far, and we're nowhere near done yet. But at least I have a place to stay that has electricity and heat. Man, heat in a house. That is an interesting concept. It took a while to get used to all the warmth in here. Anyhow, thanks for coming along with the journey. I'll keep you updated. I've got my video editing computer here. I did forget to bring a mouse, so it makes editing a little bit more difficult. But I'm sure there's one laying around here somewhere. Anyhow, I'll see you guys soon. I'm gonna get another video up here, no more than 2 days probably, so I'll see you then.